test 1, 2. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So great to be here in India. This is my first time in India, and I changed my flight specifically to come here. So I'm really excited to be here in front of you guys. My name is Kevin Jones. I work in developer relations for Edge and Node, which is the core team behind the Graph protocol. The Graph protocol is a decentralized indexing protocol layer that allows you to get access to data. And I'm also in the Build Guild, working with Austin and supporting users on Scaffold ETH. And yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about community and just tell a little bit about my story, how I kind of got to where I am and kind of what I'm working on, and hopefully resonate with you guys and inspire you guys a little bit for your journey. So yeah, how did you guys come into the space? Like, what was your journey? I'd love to talk to you guys later. I'll be here hanging out, and I would love to hear what your story is. But I want to tell a little bit about mine. I actually started out, I've been working in the Web 2 space for a very long time. I worked at NGINX. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of NGINX before. I worked at NGINX for a long time, and I was very inspired by the community with NGINX, open source, and being a very popular Web 2 tool. And it was right around COVID time that I started to really get into blockchain, Web3, and decentralization, and learning more about the technology. And I basically came across Ethereum, and I came across the idea of smart contracts, and smart contracts were something new that I just was really excited about, that I didn't quite understand, but I knew that I wanted to build smart contracts, and I knew I wanted to build on Ethereum. And it was really, I guess, not so early, but early enough to where it was hard to really find out what exact tools you needed to get into the field, right? And get into the space. And of course, my journey ended up with Scaffold ETH. You probably have heard Scaffold ETH a few times today, speedrun Ethereum. And this, I landed here on Scaffold ETH, and I learned that Scaffold ETH kind of had everything that I needed to get started, right, building on Ethereum. And it was my entryway, right? I learned a lot from Austin. Austin was a great mentor to me and helped educate me just online by watching his YouTube videos. I actually had the chance to meet Austin at ETH Denver, and we connected. I was actually shooting photography at the time for ETH Denver. Volunteering as a photographer just to get into the space and go to the events, but I was very passionate about educating. And so I started doing my own workshops, and I went through Speedrun Ethereum, did all the challenges, and I got really comfortable with the content. And eventually was, like I said, fortunate to meet Austin and start helping out with the Build Guild. So I would actually go to the ETH Global Hackathons, and I would do photography at the ETH Global Hackathons, and I would help out with workshops if Austin couldn't make it. And again, the Build Guild is just this really great community that has evolved around education on Ethereum. And yeah, it was my entryway, and I highly recommend that if you guys have not gone to speedrunethereum.com, please do that and go through the missions, the challenges. They're very, very useful. And then at the same time, I was very interested in the graph. And this is because I think that the graph solves a specific use case with blockchain that I felt was missing. And it also is a little bit infrastructure, which obviously working at NGINX, I was very familiar with infrastructure. And the Graph and the Build Guild have had like a very close relationship. Adam Fuller, who used to be a product manager for the Graph, was also in the Build Guild. And he had created a repo, a special, at the time it was just a special version of Scaffold ETH that had built-in integration with the graph, with what we call the subgraphs. Subgraphs are basically like GraphQL-based APIs that you can sit in front of your web application to get access to blockchain data so that you don't have to read from the RPC server. So it's a very critical thing that you need to build in an app. And so started getting very involved in understanding the graph, and eventually did get hired as a DevRel working for the graph. But just before actually getting hired at the Graph, I was walking around. I was actually in ETH Global Tokyo. I saw you have the Tokyo shirt there. I was walking around the castle ruins with Simone, who, if anyone doesn't know Simone was my boss at the Graph. At the time, he was not my boss. But we were brainstorming about how we could do more as a whole with the Graph and the Build Guild. And one of the ideas that we came up with was to do a cohort that was specifically aimed at funding developers that wanted to build on the graph and also be involved in the Build Guild. And so anyone who doesn't know, like the Build Guild used to have like cohorts where you could basically have a stream of ETH, and we still do have the cohorts for specific core members. But this was cool because it was the first time that you could actually get paid in GRT just through smart contracts. We utilized the smart contracts that Austin and the team built to be able to stream this ETH. And they actually basically created a special version that supported the GRT token. And so that was really cool. It was a cool way to like bridge communities, right, between the Build Guild and the graph. And to this day, we do have a stream set up for a few different people that are supporting the subgraph extension of Scaffold ETH and supporting the Telegram channels to get any support of people that need help with the package. But I wanted to build more. And so I wanted to build something, and I was very inspired by the work that Austin had done with Speedrun Ethereum, Austin and the team. And so I wanted to build something similar that related to the graph. And so what came out was this. I'm just going to use the microphone here. So that was the promo video for the app that I built, which is basically called the Graph Builders Basecamp. And basically, sorry, I have to like bring it up here. So you guys can check it out if you're interested. It's basecamp.thegraph.com. But what it is it's inspired by Scaffold ETH, and it's a very similar type of model where you basically can come on, connect your wallet, and you can take part in some missions, right? And these missions are basically similar to the speedrun challenges, but they're specifically aimed at teaching you about the subgraph extension of Scaffold ETH and teaching you how to get access to blockchain data with the graph. And so again, this was an inspiration, and I feel like something like Speedrun Ethereum and something like this Graph Builders Basecamp is a really cool way. The difference was that I did build this with NFTs built in to the Basecamp. So you can actually go there. If you complete the missions, you can earn these little NFTs. They're kind of like soulbound tokens. And the tech is a little bit very similar. It's actually built on Scaffold ETH, obviously, built on the subgraph extension. But I utilize Chainlink to do some what are called Chainlink functions, which allow you to do off-chain Oracle calls to a off-chain source. And so in this case, you're basically validating that a user has deployed a subgraph and that a query is successful. And then when that is successful, I mint the user an NFT. So it's a very fully decentralized way to do verification of a HTTP source using Chainlink functions. So check it out. It's all open source. It's on my GitHub. You can check it out. My GitHub is kmjones1979. If you want to check it out or learn more, I can kind of dive more into it. And that was very successful. We had about, so far, about 1,000 visitors have come to the website from about 50 different countries. And we've brought in 41 new builders. And of those builders, there's been 73 missions, so 70 people have completed the missions. And 7 of those builders have completed all 4 of the missions. So pretty cool little tool, just built just to help support the ecosystem and support the developers coming into the graph. So what about mentorship? Right, so we talked a lot about education, right? Austin and me and other people in the Build Guild are trying to build community through education on Ethereum. We have a Scaffold ETH and some of the other tools like Speedrun Ethereum and the Graph Builders Basecamp and other interesting things. So I wanted to do something a little bit more, and so I started thinking about mentorship, and I feel that it's maybe a missing gap in the space. And so I wanted to come up with a way for people to be able to interact and connect through smart contracts. And so I came up with Genesis. So Genesis is basically a platform also built on Scaffold ETH on the subgraph package that utilizes a concept of mentorship. So you can come to the platform, You can sign up with a normal wallet, like a crypto wallet if you want, or it does have privy, so you can sign in with your email address or your GitHub, and it will create a wallet for you under the hood. So someone doesn't even actually have to have full experience of like how to use a wallet. And they can create a profile. So they can say like what their name is, what their email is, what skills they have, like what are they really good at. And then maybe if they want to learn some skills, like what are they interested in learning. And then they can also put in all of their socials, right? Like their Twitter, stuff like that. And they can build a profile. And what this will do is it will create a public, you can choose to make it public if you want. And you have this kind of like public profile. It's similar to like Talent Protocol or some of these other protocols. And you can also launch communities. And you can also put your projects on there, similar to like what you can do with Speedrun Ethereum and Build Guild, where you can add your projects. And then you can also launch communities. So right now there's about 20 communities that I've onboarded into the ecosystem. So if you're a community, like a blockchain club, or if you are working for some kind of Web3 protocol and you're interested in launching a community, you can go there, go to genesisapp.xyz, and you can launch a community, and then I will approve it. It's gated at the moment. And then there's also some learning modules. So I wanted to create like more, I guess, longer form content that maybe would allow people to scale up in different things. So there's topics on Solidity. There's actually 3 different main challenges that cover Solidity. There's one that kind of walks you through Speedrun Ethereum. There's one that teaches you the basics of Ethereum, Viper, programming language. And so there's a handful of these kind of like learning modules that you can also take, and you can mint an NFT, same thing, using chain-linked functions. And if you want to become a mentor, you can also apply to be a mentor. So I'm definitely interested if anyone wants to become a mentor, especially here in India. I would love to help expand the mentorship here. And you can basically apply, and when you do become a mentor, you can set up a Calendly link and a office hours if you choose, that you want to actually host office hour sessions. And this will allow you to create NFTs that are basically, right now they're all free. Eventually you might be able to charge for your time. But right now the idea is that you can come on here, create a mentorship for like your blockchain club, and then people could like kind of like connect with you on that mentorship platform. And then what that will look like is something like this, where you'll have your username and you'll be able to search for someone. Let's say you wanted to find someone that knew React, Next.js, TypeScript, or whatever the functions they had, and then they would have this kind of like mentorship available. And so, yeah, if you're building in this in Ethereum and you're interested in either being a mentor or launching a community, please talk to me. You guys can check it out here. It's genesisapp.xyz. I would love to have you guys try it out. If you have any bugs or issues, please reach out to me and let me know. I would love to hear. And then here are my socials as well. So you guys can follow me online. It's cryptomastery_ on Twitter. And then my Telegram is Kevin Jones Creates. But thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Kevin.